Well, welcome to another winter edition of Let's Get Growing. And even though it's winter, we have many things we need to do in the landscape. So in December, what should we be doing? Well, let's think about it. You have got to mow if you still have grass or weeds, or you've planted cool season grass. So you'll be mowing. Then remember to water our annuals, all your new plantings, and water everything before a hard freeze, because when the ground is full of water, then it'll only get down to 30 or 32 degrees. But if the ground is full of air instead of water, then it'll get down very low and you can freeze the root system. So remember to water before a hard freeze. You also need to perform your major tree pruning during this time, and remember, get that mistletoe out, and you need to remove 6 inches behind that because it actually does root into the branch. So you're going to have to remove part of the branch. Just knocking it off is just spreading it. And then spray dormant oil if needed on red oaks, camellias, and our crab apples, and that's going to be for worms, etc., that you'll get later on in the spring. And fertilize your pansies and other winter annuals at this time, like your kale and cabbage. All of the annuals need to be watered, fertilized and watered this time of year. And also remember to plant trees and shrubs and wildflower seeds at this time, because during this period of the year, they're still going to put out roots and be ready to grow when spring hits. And remember to mulch bare spots and newly planted areas, because if you have a bare spot, there'll be a weed. So let's mulch those bare spots. They insulate the ground, control weed seeds, and also help maintain moisture. January is somewhat a repeat of December, because we're going to want to continue to mow the grassy weeds, or if you have a cool season grass. You're also going to want to continue the major pruning of the trees, and don't forget the mistletoe. And then spray dormant oil on those trees and shrubs that had problems last year. Remember to fertilize your pansies and other winter annuals. Mulch the bare soil, and remember to plant trees and shrubs where needed. And then last but not least, you're going to begin the pruning of the summer blooming shrubs, not your spring blooming shrubs. So crepe myrtles, and we're not going to top them off. Remember, don't commit crepe murder. You're only going to remove anything that crosses and rubs, grows towards the middle. Any dead or diseased wood. Those are your 3 major things that you look at when you're pruning. But don't start pruning the quince, your flowering fruit trees, Forsythia, holly, the azaleas. All of those are your spring blooming shrubs that you don't prune at this time. Well, this is our how-to portion of the show. This is an aglaonemia, sometimes called closet plant, but they're very, very drought resistant, and they are low water and light usage in the home. But they're very easy to make cuttings out of, and we're going to make this pot even fuller. And I thought it might be nice if we mix some color in with it by using this that's called Moses in the Boat, and this is aglaonemia. So the first thing that we're going to do is make a cut down close to the base of the plant. We're going to leave about 1 inch above the soil, so that we don't get a fungus infection from the soil. And now we're just going to let this lay out, and you're going to let it lay there for a day or 2. And that way this end will heal over, and then it won't be susceptible to fungus that's in the soil. And let's take one more major cutting. And we'll want to strip those bottom leaves off, so we've got a nice clean stalk. To mix it up, we're going to come over and do the same thing with the Moses in the Boat. And we're going to make our cutting down at the base. And as you can see, it's nice, thick, and fleshy. Anytime you're making a cutting of something that's this thick and fleshy, you want to let it lay out and heal over so that you're not getting a fungal infection from the soil, because we're actually going to stick this right back into the soil. And remember, soil has microorganisms in it and bacteria that help break nutrients down so the plant can use them. But we need to let them heal over to protect themselves from those bacteria. So now, let's just assume that it's been 3 days. And now we're going to put our cuttings back into this pot. And I'm going to, remember, add some color. So I'm going to look at this, first of all, see if that makes a nice arrangement. Because these are going to come out, these two that we've cut will sprout out, and they're going to make a nice full pot. So I have an empty spot in the back, and I'm making a preliminary hole, and then I take this that's been laying out for a couple of days and stick it down to where it's stable in the soil and not moving. And now this will root in here, and we can fill it out even more by taking an aglaonemia cutting. We want to make sure that we have it in there nice and tight. Now, I have used some rocks in this pot as decoration, so I can remove those, and now I have a spot to add some height to this pot full of red. But it's so full of roots that I'm having to kind of cut my way through, make a little indentation, and then we take our healed over cutting and place it in the pot. Now we want them to be stable. So even just using this rock, see how I've stabilized it? And now it'll root, and we'll have some colorful plants that can be used in the home. Well, that's our winter edition of Let's Get Growing, and we'll see you in February. In February, we're also going to have gardening classes at the library every Thursday from 6:30 until 8 p.m. on Thursdays from 6:30 to 8, beginning in February on Thursday nights.